Have you ever noticed that during these hot summer heat waves it feels like your whole brain has stopped working? Maybe you forget things more than usual, or maybe you find it much harder to focus. And let's be honest, when it's hot, the first thing to evaporate is often our patience, especially when sleep feels almost impossible. If you're ADHD, autistic, or AuDHD like me, the struggle is real. Hot weather doesn't just make many neurodivergent people feel uncomfortable. It can make our whole nervous systems work much harder. So, let's look at why that happens. And more importantly, let's take a look at what we can do to manage the situation until things cool down. Humans, welcome to AuDHD Bites. Let's get our teeth sank in, shall we? For most people, a heat wave is simply uncomfortable. For many neurodivergent people, however, it becomes another layer of sensory information that the brain has to process all day long. Your body is constantly telling you that you're too hot. Clothes feel different and irritated against your skin. Sweat becomes another sensation to consciously process. And bright sunlight can become more overwhelming. With all this loud discomfort converging, things aren't just hitting boiling point. They're hitting meltdown territory. When boiling in this soup of discomfort, even simple things like concentrating on a conversation requires more mental effort because your brain is already busy managing the extra cognitive load that the heat wave has saddled on us. For people with ADHD, this often means that less mental energy is available for attention, planning, and working memory. Executive functioning, which is the system in the brain that conducts attention, gets fed up of being overworked, packs its bags, hops on a plane, and heads off for a summer holiday. For autistic people, the increased sensory input from a heatwave can push the nervous system even closer to overload. Things that usually feel manageable can suddenly become irritating or exhausting because your sensory volume dial is already turned all the way up. When ADHD and autism overlap, those challenges can amplify one another. You may find yourself feeling mentally foggy, emotionally reactive, physically drained, and unable to understand why simple tasks suddenly feel impossible. And sleep, or the lack thereof, makes this even harder. Many of us already struggle with getting good quality sleep, and hot nights just make things 10 times worse. And the less rested your brain is, the less capacity it has for emotional regulation, executive functioning, and sensory processing the following day. Oosh! Can you see the horrible loop there? Struggling in a heat wave is not a moral failure, a character flaw, or a lack of effort. It's a clash between our environment and our neurodivergent biology. So, let's stop beating ourselves up about struggling in a heatwave, and let's reframe it. Here's the part that I really want you to remember. Your nervous system doesn't care that everyone else seems to be carrying on as normal. Your nervous system responds to your environment and your capacity. That means that struggling during a heatwave isn't a sign that you've become lazy or weak or less resilient. It's often a sign that your brain is using your energy reserves simply to stay emotionally and biologically regulated. And understanding this can be incredibly freeing because it replaces self-criticism with self-compassion. Instead of asking, "Why can't I cope today?" you can begin asking, "What extra demands is my nervous system dealing with today?" Now that's a much kinder question. And if you've been watching the videos here on AuDHD Bites, you know that questions lead to answers, and answers lead to strategies. So, you know where we're going. It's strategy time! The goal during a heatwave isn't to force your brain to perform normally. The goal is to support your nervous system until the environment becomes less demanding. So, here's some things we can try. 1. Lower your expectations before your brain lowers them for you. If you know that the heat affects your concentration, energy, or mood, give yourself permission to simplify your day. Protect the essentials and let the less important tasks wait. The heatwave will pass, and there will be time to catch up. For right now though, a realistically trimmed down to-do list will give you the space to prioritize rest, hydration, and hygiene. Regulating these fundamentals in this way is not a waste of time. Your biological needs are the foundations that your productivity is built on. 2. Reduce sensory demands whenever you can. Cooling your body isn't just about physical comfort. It also reduces the amount of sensory information that your brain has to process. Whether that's sitting in the shade, wearing lighter clothing, using a fan, taking a cool shower, or simply dimming the lights indoors. Every small reduction in sensory load gives your nervous system a little more room to regulate. 3. And this is an important one. Remember that the heatwave is a temporary situation. Write it on a sticky note, put it on a poster, make it visual. The additional pressure that we are feeling in our neurodivergent brains during a hot summer heatwave, it is temporary. Reminding yourself that this is temporary is important because when we're dysregulated, our brains often convince us that this is how we'll feel forever. But remember this, my human friends. Heat waves pass, sleep improves, and nervous systems recover. You don't need to solve everything today. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is simply help yourself get through the week with kindness. So, my human friends, if this hellacious heatwave has left you feeling more overwhelmed than the people around you seem to be, I hope this episode has helped you think about it in a more self-compassionate way. This has been one of the seasonal specials here on AuDHD Bites. And even though today's episode has been inspired by the current series of summer heatwaves, having an understanding of how temperature affects your nervous system can be helpful anytime hot weather, travel, or warm environments leave you feeling unexpectedly overwhelmed. If this episode has been useful, I invite you to check out my channel's ever-growing library of Goth brain guidance for ADHD, autism, and AuDHD. Don't forget to click subscribe and, most importantly, drop a bat emoji in the comment section so that I know who I'm talking to. As always, thank you so much for watching and supporting my neurodivergent-led efforts. Until next time, stay cool, humans!